Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are fit and fine. Children, as you all know, this is your general knowledge class and we are going to continue the same topic, be a smart child. As we have discussed few situations in our previous class, today we are going to discuss few natural calamities, how we can react, how we can take a step in that we are going to discuss today. So children, first of all, we should understand about these natural calamities. So today's we are going to discuss about landslide, which are most common in our hilly areas, and flood. This is the time when flood always comes in this time, because this is the monsoon season, and after monsoon floods are always coming. And now and after that we will discuss these flu or these coronavirus pandemic, because in that how we are going to take a step or how we are going to prevent from these type of the flu infection. So children, today's class is based on your decision making, or how to make a decision to escape from these worst situation. So children, let's discuss first what do you mean by landslide, and after that flood, and then we will discuss how can we save our life from these type of the natural calamities. So children, first of all we are going to discuss about landslide. You can see image of landslide. A landslide is defined as the movement of a mass of rock, debris or earth down a slope. Landslides are a type of mass wasting, which denotes any downslope movement of soil and rock under the direct influence of gravity. The term landslide encompasses 5 modes of slope movement: falls, topples, slides, spreads, and flows. These are further subdivided by the type of the geologic material: bedrock, debris, or earth. Debris flow, commonly referred to as mud flows or mudslides, and rock falls are example of common landslide type. Almost every landslide has multiple causes. Slope movement occurs when forces acting down slope, mainly due to the gravity, exceed the strength of the earth materials that compose the slope. Now children, I am going to show you another image of landslide. Here you can see causes include factors that increases the effect of downslope forces that contribute low of the reduced strength. Landslide can be initialized in slopes already on the verge of movement by rainfall, snow melt, changes in water level, stream erosion, changes in groundwater, earthquakes, volcanic activity, disturbance by human activities, or any combination of these factors. Earthquake, shaking, and other factors can also induce landslide underwater. These landslides are called submarine landslide. Submarine landslide sometimes causes tsunamis that damage coastal areas. Children, causes of landslide. Landslides occur when the slope or the portion of it undergoes some process that change its condition from stable to unstable. This is essentially due to the decreases in the shear strength of the slope material, an increase in the shear stress borne by the materials, or a combination of two. A change in the stability of a slope can be caused by a number of factors acting together or alone. Natural causes of the landslide include saturation by rainwater, infiltration, snow melting, or glaciers melting. These are the cause of landslide. Now, children, nowadays you can see it is very common in hilly areas. Increases of hydrostatic pressure in cracks and fractures, loss or absence of the vertical vegetative structure, soil nutrients or soil structure, erosion of the toe of the slope by rivers or sea waves, physical and chemical weathering, repeated freezing and thawing, heating and cooling, salt leaking in the groundwater or mineral dissolution. Ground shaking caused by the earthquakes, which can destabilize the slope directly by including soil cuffication, or weaken the material and cause cracks that will eventually produce a landslide. Landslides are aggravated by human activities such as deforestation, cultivation, construction, vibration from machinery or traffic, or children blasting and mining, earthquake by altering the shape of the slope or imposing new loads. In shallow soils, the removal of deep rooted vegetation, children, and that birds colluvium to the bedrocks, binds colonium to the bedrocks, or agriculture or forestry activities, logging, urbanization, which changes the amount of water, infiltration, the soil. So, temporal variation in land use and land cover, that is called LULC. It includes the human abandonment of farming areas due to economic and social transformation which occurred in Europe after the Second World War. Land degradation and extreme rainfall can increase the frequency of erosion and landslide phenomena. So, children, there are many type of landslides that if we will discuss the Hungry Lunal Piracle classification. So here there is so many type of the rocks and soils and the type of the movement. You can see that fall, if you will see the rock ice fall और boulder debris और जो soil होता है the boulder debris sit fall. Now topple, you can say that rock block topple, rock fractural topple, और grave जो soil होता है वो gravel sand and slit topple होते हैं. And the slide, rock rational slide, rock planar side, rock wedge side, rock compound side, and rock irregular side. These type of the rock will be fall down in the slides. And इसमें जो soil होता है clay silt rotational slide होता है. तो this type of the, और spread क्या होता है, what is the spread, how can we see in the rock slope spread होता है. तो ये सारी चीज़ें, these are the very dangerous situation when it is occurred. So it can collapse the lands and whatever the रिहायशी एरिया जहाँ वो रहता है वो सब भी उसके अंदर कोलैप्स हो जाता है. तो एक्चुअली दिस इज़ द डेंजरस सिचुएशन when we are facing this landslide in few areas, or maximum you can see these landslides you can find in hilly areas. Now children, we are going to discuss about flood also natural calamities and it is not only the natural calamities, but it is due to um, our irregularity or our um, not paying attention on the natural resources. We are just deforested. Deforestation is the main cause of floods and these slides. So now children, we are going to discuss about floods. Now children, we are going to talk about flood. Here you can see in this picture, that is flood. The scene of, in this image you can see flood. Okay. Now children, here you can see a flood is an overflow of water that submerges land that is usually dry. In the sense of the flowing water, the word may also be applied to the inflow of the tide. Floods are an area of study of discipline, hydrology, and are the significant concern in agriculture, civil engineering, and public health. Human changes to the environment often increases the intensity and frequency of flooding. For example, land use changes, children, such as deforestation and removal of wetlands, changes in waterway, cause course or flood control such as with leaves, and larger environmental issues such as climate change and sea level rise. Okay, children, flooding may occur as an overflow of the water from water bodies such as a river, lake, or ocean, in which the water overtops and breaks leaves, resulting in some of that water escaping its usual boundaries, or it may occur due to an accumulation of the rainwater on saturated ground in an aerial flood. While the size of the lake or other body of the water will vary with seasonal changes in precipitation, precipitation and snow melt. These changes in size are unlikely to be considered significant unless they flood property or drown domestic animals. Now, children, here you can see that floods can also occur in rivers when the flow rate exceeds the capacity of the river channel, particularly at bends or meanderings in the waterway. Floods often cause damage to the homes and business if they are in the natural floodplains of the rivers, while riverine flood damage can be eliminated by moving away from rivers and other bodies of river water. People have traditionally lived and worked by rivers because the land is usually flat and fertile, and because rivers provide easy travel and access to the commerce and industries. Flood can lead to the secondary consequences in addition to damage to property, such as long-term displacement of residents and creating increased spread of the waterborne diseases and vector-borne diseases transmitted by the mosquito. Believe it or not, flooding is the deadliest type of the severe weather. There's probably a lot of about flood and flooding you don't know. Children, we have to see these are the dangerous situation on earth. If the area which you can say the drawn with flood, that after flood you can see many epidemic, many type of the calamities can be occurred. So children, flood is a very dangerous situation for any area. Flood is term used to denote an enormous amount of water Where there is an overflow of water in a place, it is said to be flooded. The situation caused when the water becomes uncontrollable is said to be flooded. The flood may take different forms such as in form of heavy rainfall when there is breaking of the dam. Furthermore, the melting of the snow also leads to the flooding. Now, floods led to an overfull and huge spread of water, but are they considered safe for the purpose of drinking? Thus, floods bring with them a number of diseases such as typhoid, cholera, and many other. Here we shall discuss the various causes of flood. The flood is usually result of you can say these are the situation when it's come, so it can create a major problem for the people those who are nearby, but it may also caused by a man-made factor also. It causes huge damage to the life and property, children. There are many different causes of leading to the flooding. Some prominent among them include that is massive rainfall, drainage system and the effective infrastructure designed during heavy rains. They help the drainage of excess water into reservoirs is an easy way. But in case of heavy rainfall, the systems stop working. Thus, flood is caused. Overflowing of rivers, children. The people living along the river always have a risk of life from the overflowing of the rivers. To prevent such a situation, a string of dams are built. However, if these dams are not managed properly, they may cause flooding and huge damages. So, collapsed dams, it means in the event of the huge rainfall, the dam builds begin to the collapse, thus causing the flood situation to become an even critical for the people living around. So these are the situation, or you can say the uh, situation which can uh, create this problem, the snow melt also. At the time of the high melting of snow due to heavy precipitation and other factors, the situation of flooding arises. Adopting sustainable measure for heavy precipitation can help in dealing with the flooding situation. Deforestation, the cutting of trees in a reckless manner. Deforestation is also a major cause of man made flooding. Trees prevent soil erosion and also the loss of crops. The vegetation is also enriched as a result of more and more trees. This also blocks the massive flow of rain, thus preventing flooding, children. So, climate change, here you can see the climate change is caused due to the human practice, also add to the risk of flooding. Human beings cut trees in a large number, thus affecting the process of the photosynthesis, thus increased level of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, cause changes in climate, posting threats of the natural disasters like flood, etc. Emission of the greenhouse gases. The burning of fossil fuels, the industrial influences, the population, air pollution, all is depleting the level of the ozone layer and increasing the level of the greenhouse gases, becoming a major cause of man-made flooding. Children, other factors can also uh, this major flood, you can see the broken supply lines cause the overflow of the water but leads to the less damage. Also, there is a water flow from the washing machine. Furthermore, overflow from the dishwasher worsen the situation. Also, the lack of the proper sewage system add to the destruction of the natural disaster. So, children, thus the flood can be caused both due to the natural causes as well as it can be the human-made flood. So, flood cause huge loss of life and property. Water Borne diseases spread as a result of the flood, causing health problem. Moreover, the destruction of the roadways, infrastructure facilities, and disturbance of ecosystem, improper sewage systems, all demand serious effort of the adopting sustainable measure. Taking steps such as afforestation and decrease the emission of the harmful gases into the atmosphere could help. Also, enrichment of vegetation, fewer deeds causing pollution, and treatment of sewage could be useful way to combat the situation. Now, children, these are the things we have already discussed, and these are the things or these are called the natural calamities which are dangerous for the human being. Now we are going to discuss about flu, children. Now, children, flu, seasonal influenza, is most often caused by type A or B influenza viruses. Symptoms include sudden onset of fever, cough, usually dry, headache, muscle and joint pain, such sore throat and runny nose. The, the cough can be severe and can last 2 or more weeks. Most people recover from fever and other symptoms within a week without requiring medication. However, influenza can cause severe illness or death in high risk groups. So, that is common flu. We are talking about the influenza. Seasonal epidemics occur mainly during winter from October to March in the northern hemisphere and April to September in the southern hemisphere. In tropical and subtropical countries, seasonal influenza can happen all over the year. So, how can I avoid getting the flu? First of all, the best way to avoid getting the flu is to get flu vaccine everywhere. Influenza viruses evolve constantly. That twice a year WHO makes recommendation to update the vaccine composition from the 2016 and 17 northern hemisphere influenza season. The vaccine formulation was updated in February 2016, and now WHO recommends annual vaccination for high risk group including healthcare workers. People should ideally get vaccinated just before the influenza season begin for the most effective coverage. Although getting vaccinated at any time during the influenza season can still prevent the flu. Uh, okay, who is most at risk? First of all, we should understand flu. In the flu, who is most at risk? People most of risk for severe seasonal influenza are pregnant women at any stage of pregnancy, children younger than 5 years, people older than 65 years, people with the chronic medical conditions such as HIV, AIDS, asthma, heart, lungs, diabetes, etc. People with increased risk of exposure to influenza, which include healthcare workers. How it is treated? Okay, children. How it is treated, first of all, we should know. People with the flu should drink plenty of water and take rest. Most people will recover within a week. Antiviral drugs for influenza can reduce severe complication and deaths, although influenza viruses can develop resistance to the drugs. They are especially important for the high risk groups. Ideally, these drugs need to be administered early within a 48 hours of the onset of symptom. Antibiotics are also not effective against influenza viruses. So, children, nowadays we can see after influenza virus, there is a very strong virus, that is corona. So, corona COVID-19 is really dangerous for all of us So now we will discuss which is related to this um, influenza. It is looking like influenza and flu, but it is not flu. Now, children, here you can see coronavirus diseases. COVID 19 is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. Most people infected with COVID 19 virus will experience mild to moderate respiratory illness and recover without requiring special treatment. Older people and those with the underlying medical problem with cardiovascular disease, diabetic, chronic respiratory disease, and cancer are more likely to develop serious illness. The best way to prevent and slow down the transmission is to well informed about the COVID-19 virus, the disease it causes and how it is spread. Protect yourself and others from infection by washing your hands and using an alcohol based rub frequently and not touching your face. The COVID 19 virus is spread primarily through droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose when the infected person coughs or sneezes. So, it is important that you also practice respiratory etiquette, for example, by coughing into the flexed elbow. So, protect yourself, advice for the public. Mythbusters also, there is stays informed about that. Question and answer, we have to discuss situation reports, we have to evaluate. Okay, so these are the things we just follow because अभी सबसे ज़्यादा डर अगर किसी का है तो कोरोना पैंडेमिक वायरस का है. तो फ्लू तो इट्स क्योरेबल, बट अगर कोरोना वायरस किसी को हो जाता है या कोविड-19 किसी को हो जाता है तो सिचुएशन थोड़ी सी ख़राब हो सकती है. उससे पहले वैक्सीन्स आर अवेलेबल, सो यू जस्ट गो एंड गेट वैक्सीनेटेड, and after vaccination also you should take precaution because this is very dangerous for your health. So that is why you should wear mask, double mask, and when avoid move in the crowded area, and be very particular about your washing your hands and wearing your double mask, and especially when you having not soap water, you just rub your hand with any sanitizer. So children, these are the important facts about the epidemic. Let's discuss that what we will react, how we will going to take steps in these type of the calamities.
Now, children, uh, is landslide in your areas? So, what will you do? First is you would quickly move out of the path of the landslide or debris now flow. You would immediately rush to the site of the slide to look for your dear ones. So, what you will do that time? So, I think if there is a landslide in your area, you would quickly move out of the path of the landslide or debris flow. Okay. Now, what you will do, it is depend upon you, because I have already discussed with you that these are the dangerous situation which makes you or bring you in a danger. So that is why this is your decision, children, that what you will what you want to take. So because where there is a landslide, you should move away from the path of the flow to the stable area. First of all, you should move away from that. So children, this is a worse condition. That is why you should move from that area, because this is important for you, children. And on the other hand, hiding yourself under strong furniture can help you escape from the dangerous situation. So children, here it is also a natural disaster which can you can see in the hilly areas mostly. So children, if it is a natural disaster, and only a trained person can save the lives of the people trapped near the slide, you may direct the rescuers to their location, children. So first of all, you should move to the rescuers because this is important and you are not trained for that. So that is why it is best idea that you should move from there. Now children, fifth one, if you will see, if you need to return home after flood, so what you would do first. Now here children, the first situation is you would look into for damaged power lines, gas lines, foundation cracks and other exterior damage before entering the house. You would turn the power as soon as you enter the house and clean it properly. Now children, this is also a situation. First you have to sanitize your house first, and before entering your house ensure that local officials have declared that it is safe, because flood can come again and again. So this is what I would like to tell you, that if the officials have already declared that this area is safe, then you can come back. So and you have the supplies you will need. You should turn the main electrical power and water systems off until a professional ensures that they are safe. So electrical तो आपको छूना ही नहीं है, क्योंकि जब वाटर आपके घरों में घुसा हुआ है फ्लड का वाटर, तो it is quite dangerous for you to touch any wire or any electric area. So children, before assure yourself that before assurance you can't do this, you must not do this, children. Now we are moving to the next one, that is 6. If the local authorities are warning against spread of flu in the area, you would try to find out the symptoms of the flu alleged to have spread, or you would avoid touching your eyes, nose, mouth to prevent germs from entering the body and regularly wash your hands. Children, nowadays this situation is occurring again and again. First wave, second wave and third wave is coming. So now these are the things are very important that you should avoid the situation and you should save yourself first. Okay, the main way the flu viruses spread is from the person to person in droplets of coughs and sneeze. To prevent spread, so it is important to remember hand washing and to cover your cough or sneeze. So children, it is must that you should wear 2 or double mask when you are moving outside of your house. So children, it is most important thing. Okay children, so these are the situation you can face with your life skill, because these skills must be developed. So what you will react when this situation will occur. So be cautious. हर एक सिचुएशन को पहले इवेल्युएट कर लीजिए, असेस कर लीजिए, देन यू टेक द डिसीजन, और इसकी सीरियसनेस को भी आपको समझना होगा, अदरवाइज इट इज़ very difficult to escape yourself. So children, it is important that you should prevent, take prevention. Prevention is better than cure. So children, always be preventive. Okay, इससे पहले की सिचुएशन ख़राब हो जाए, आपको अपनो प्रिवेंशन ज़रूर होना चाहिए. So children, with this note, I would like to conclude my video. We will meet again in our next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.